I promise you won't be disappointed. Welcome home. You're moving to the Bay Area and you're buying a home. Let's say this home is $1 million and you're putting down 20%, so that's $200,000. Besides paying $200,000 to the bank and get 80% of that loan amount from the bank, is there any other fees involved in this buying process? Today, we're going to talk about closing costs and all the fees involved in the closing cost. My name is Casey. We are a team of realtors here in Silicon Valley. If you're thinking of moving out here, we'll love to help you find your home. If you're thinking of selling your home, we'll love an opportunity to interview with you. Okay, let's dive into these closing cost net sheet. Today, we're going to talk about two counties, Santa Clara and Alameda. Depending on the county, the closing cost structure is going to be a little bit different. Santa Clara County, the seller pay for escrow and title fee. So your closing cost is going to be a little bit less. Alameda County, the buyers pay for escrow and title fee. So closing cost is going to be much more. I'm going to link the sheets up here so that you can look and we can talk about each fee in this process. Okay, so we're going to talk about Santa Clara County first. So let's say we have the sales price of $1 million. The debit is whatever that you have to pay and the credit is whatever that you already pay or the bank gonna pay as well, or the seller. Okay, so the sale price is $1 million. Obviously, you have to pay that $1 million. And let's say the loan going to be at 6.5% interest rate. The bank is lending you 80% of the value, meaning $800,000. Down payment, you're putting down $200,000. So that is 20%. Property tax, you always have to pay for the property tax for the period whenever that you close. And the end of this net sheet, we're going to talk about the supplemental bill. So the first year, you're going to see your property tax is a little bit lower, but the second year, you're going to get 4 bills. So 2 regular bills for taxes and the 2 supplemental. People always freak out for the following year because they thought they're overpaying in extra taxes, but the year that you bought your home, you actually pay much less. So it kind of makes sense at the end. Okay, so the property tax, I'm looking at closing as of today. So you have to kind of pay the period of June 2024 to July 2024. Property tax in California, calculate by your property value times 1.25%. So they come up with $993.15 for $1 million purchase. Title fee, this is a beautiful thing in Santa Clara County. The sellers actually pay for your title fee. It's about $2,371. Escrow fee is another $1,780, also paid by the seller. So if you look at this and you're buying Alameda County, this roughly around $4,500 to $5,000 that you're going to have to pay. Lender policy titles fee paid by the buyer. So again, depending on the county and the city, this paid by the buyer, so you have to pay $1,012. County transfer tax, this one always paid by the seller. This is actually the property tax. City transfer tax. So depending on the city, some city you have to pay for city transfer tax, some city you don't. Most of the time, if you have to pay for city transfer tax, it's 50-50 between buyer and seller. Loan title in fee is $275. And again, this is just an estimate. And I'm looking at Orange Coast Title Company. So this is their fee. If you're doing different company like Chicago or First American, of course, they're going to have different fee as well. Electronic loans, document retrieval, $75. External documents, copy production, $25. They charge you for everything. Processing, handling, $75. Wiring fee, $25. notary fee $150, county recording fee $54. Again, this is just an estimate. I think the county recording fee is only like $23 or $24, but they always overestimate. So what will happen is you, on a couple days before your closing day, they'll give you a statement. They'll tell you how much cash you need to bring in to close. You send it in. After your closing, they're going to calculate everything to the exact dollar. And if you pay extra, they will send you a check. And then if we look at the credit column, you know, 800,000, that is the loan amount from the bank for 80%, 200,000, that your 20% deposit, 1780, this is the escrow fee that was paid by the seller, and then county transfer tax, 0. So at the bottom, you have this $1,780, and then in the debit you have $1,002,684.15. So your closing costs will be $804.15, and then include with your down payment $200,000. So you have to bring in around $200,904.15. Keep in mind, this net sheet is only for your escrow title company net sheet. When you get a loan from the bank will charge you a fee, depending on how much they're charging you to process the loan. If you take a lower interest rate and you have to pay for points, you have to pay for that portion. So a couple days before your closing date, your escrow company will talk to your lender and they will balance the closing sheet. So whatever the number here that you see, which is $904.15, you're gonna put it together with your lender fee, and then that will be your closing costs. So next, let's talk about Alameda County. So the city in the example is Fremont. It belongs to Alameda County. Same thing, we'll look at $1 million purchase price, loan amount $800,000 at 80%, the down payment 20%, $200,000. You have property tax of $976.10. Title fee, actually this time paid by the buyers, so $2,371 paid by the buyers. Escrow fee $1,780 also paid by the buyers. So you have an extra $4,500 that you have to pay out of pocket. Lender policy also paid by the buyers, $1,012. County transfer tax, the city of this is your property tax, so it is paid by the seller. And then the city of Fremont does not have city transfer tax, so nobody have to pay for that. Same thing with all these fees of the escrow company. And so because you have to pay for the title and escrow fee, your debit amount now is $1,6764.10. And on this side, pretty much you only have your loan amount and your down payment. So your closing costs, you have to bring in $6,764.10. So it is more expensive for closing costs to buy Alameda County. So now your cash to close is $206,764.10. And then you have to combine this amount with your lender fee. So it is a little bit better to buy Santa Clara County, but again, you're buying $1 million home, so a couple $1,000 in closing cost doesn't make any difference. The way to calculate closing costs is closing costs usually 1 to 3% of your purchase price. So right here, you're looking at $6,764 from the escrow company. You're probably gonna have a couple $1,000 from the lender. So altogether, maybe around $12,000. That's around, a little bit more than 1% of your purchase price. That's an easiest way to calculate closing cost. So I hope this information is helpful for you to look at, because one of the most important questions that buyer always asks at almost closing table is, oh my gosh, I have to pay for closing costs. Yes, of course. Besides the 20% that you put down, do remember that you have to pay 1 to 3% of the purchase price to pay for closing costs. Sometimes the lender would give you some credit to cover closing costs, but when they give you a credit, they're going to give you a higher interest rate. It's gonna kind of make up somehow anyways. So always, in my opinion, always choose the lower interest rates and then just pay a little bit more on closing costs. It's going to help you more in the long run anyway. All right, I hope this information is helpful. If you have any question, reach out. My information is below. Thank you for watching.